LinWu Fortress just came out a few days ago, and I try to play as much as I can to understand what the map is all about. The map is very different in design philosophy compared to what we have. Other than the 20 player count, it has multiple pathways into point, giving the attackers much more choice, but most of the paths are very narrow, giving the defenders an upper hand. Let's get into the gameplay to prove my point. I start out with my garrisons, and true to the background of the map, they excel at defending the choke points, which just so fits their 3-line formation. As you can see on the gameplay, this map starts out with both ally and enemy non-player units battling out on the wall. This actually gives both sides more vision of the map, because these non-player units take out the fog of war. Ultimately, this gives the defenders more information on where the attacks are coming from, so I really don't like this addition, as the attackers already have a hard time taking A point. If you look at the minimap right now, the enemy is grouping up on the broken part of wall next to A point. A unit of berserkers try to rush my ally forted brachio units, but I step in with my garrison, giving a swift end to these barbarians. Looking at the enemy main force staring down at us for a moment, I question why the enemy was not rushing us right now. It might be because my ally tried to charge them, that's why they kept a distance, but I should have instinctively thought about trebuchet shots. I moved a bit too slowly and narrowly dodged them. On normal maps, this should be disastrous for me, and I expect at least half of my units dead. But one thing to note about this map is that the trebuchet on the attacking side is very weak, with only 2 shots. So it isn't a significant danger to the defending side, and it leaves me with only 1 dead grey hair unit. When I say that the defending side has the advantage, this is what I mean. The enemy has 4 heroes and with their units trying to push this staircase. I stop them with my unit of garrisons and with the help of some javelin units on the side. They have a really hard time pushing onto the wall, and before long my allies come in and set up a proper defense denying their attack. I think this would be an easy victory, so I retreat to look for other holes to plug, and there I see another enemy force looking to get on top from the left side. I go in with my ally unit of garrisons to block the advance. The enemy again has 5 heroes and their units trying their best to punch through, but before they can take out our defenses, our allies from the other staircase follow up and make a proper defense again to repel the attackers. Although I lost my unit, the enemy first push was defeated twice, making it very difficult to make another push, so I take my leave and look to resupply. So far so good, with about 40 kills under my belt. Let's take a closer look at the map while I resupply and take up my paladins. The map has 2 points to defend. The home point I don't have enough experience to talk about, but for the A point, there are a lot of details I picked up and want to share. There are roughly 3 main entry points, 1 from the broken wall and 2 more by entering from the gates. The attacking side has the best chances if they go in from the broken wall, as it has 3 points of entry, with the longer route being a good flanking route. The gate entries are funneled into 1 or 2 paths that can be easily blocked by the defenders if they are prepared. Let's get back to the game. Now that my paladins are out, I'm gonna look for my chances to do some flanking. I see some easy prey below the wall, a unit of prefecture pikes. But because there was a piece of wood behind me, I charged into the wall and did a 180, giving my back to the enemy prefecture charge. I did not expect this, and should be a good reminder that there is something there. Luckily my ally Mole and Musket backed me up, and I didn't lose too much of my unit. That was very silly of me, but wait for it. I have something really eye-opening later. But before that, let's finish my lecture on the ways into the fortress, to cover the waiting time in game. There are also more hidden ways to enter the fortress, through the tunnels and wall climbing, each trying to make way to access the resupply points. I've been in groups trying to rush these early on, but without a good coordinated team, it's actually quite hard. This is especially true on the middle supply point, as any cavalry will wreak havoc on any engaging forces. Especially when the defending side has a good cavalry charge prepared, and once pulled off, the game ends right there and then, with the attacking side losing too much to win later on. With that out of the way, let's get back to the game. I saw some units going around to this flank, so I came to see if I could do anything about it. But this seems to be a false call, as there's only some archers and javelins doing not much around the corner. Then I saw this mole looking very menacingly sneaking up to the capture point. The short sword goes in for the stun, and I lock him in place with my sally forth, making sure that he dies right here and now. With the mole out of the way, let's check my units and the surroundings again. This short bow is trying really hard to poke at these forted brachios, so I try my best to cover for them. I try to engage, but he has an entire unit of muskets behind him, so I choose not to. This short bow seems to be very persistent, and I could do nothing really about it until the Fortress Brachio owner comes and take them away. It is at this point I find the perfect flanking chance. I even panicked when I saw it because I was not sure if it was a trap or not. But I quickly take my chances and make one of the most impressive charges ever. Not really skillful or demanding, but damn is it satisfying. With my charge on cooldown, I look to return to safety, as usual. I take a look at my surroundings to reassess the situation, and there I see an enemy push from the middle supply point. It seems that they took it and want to enter A point from there. I'll be a bit passive here because I want to wait till my cooldown's over, but before that my ally pushes with the Imperial Pike advance. It seems to take them by surprise and pushes everything other than the stalwarts back. I follow in with my paladins and use the XV to push the enemy back. This poor pike tries to retaliate and gets himself too deep, and after he has his one-man show, I promptly take him out with my sally forth. I know that most longsword players go with the other ultimate, the Clash of Shields, but I personally stay with sally forth because I tend to have greater impact in the game with it than not. I know that Night Stalker might say otherwise, but let me show you how I find success with this ultimate every time I pull it off. Of course with demonstrations later down the line. For anyone that tries it, do know that it's not a hero killer or damage focused ultimate. What it is a general purpose ultimate that tends to be useful everywhere. Especially so when you're dazed and without other options. Sally forth might be the difference between an ugly death or a perfect counterattack. Just then was an example of being pushed to the ground and waiting for the optimal time to strike back. When the pike used all his abilities and lost his ability to retaliate, I took him down when he was at his weakest. Let's get back to the game. The enemy stud push got onto the wall and took the supply point. I'm going down to try flank them while they move to A point. What I did not know then was that the enemy was going to retreat down a path I'm going up, so the enemy stalwart and my paladins clashed at the worst timing for me. I tried charging into the stalwarts, but before the skill finishes the wind-up, some palace guards charged into my units and wiped them out. In other words, I was counterflanked. But this was not all bad news. With my interference, my allies moved up and the enemy were all focusing their attention on me, with my hero blocking the way down. So without commanders, the enemy troops easily got dispatched by my allies. If you're wondering how I lived so long even though I was attacked by 3 enemy heroes, that's because my build is a full armor tank, the best type of tank this season. I was also being healed by Mercy of Heaven, and the 1% healing below 25 health rune, giving me 3% heals every second while I was on my last breaths. With less than 3 minutes on a timer, the enemy forces are slowly dwindling. The push just then might have been their last push, and with 3 minutes offline for their next fight, they might not be able to gather enough to push into A point. I take out my last unit of Fortress Brachio pikes and walk them to the point to take out any heroes that might want their last fight. On the way, there are some stragglers that have yet to get close to the front lines and are left to die in the puzzling environment that is this map. Being not only a new map, but how complex and multifaceted the map is, it's very easy to get lost and trapped between buildings and taken out by the defenders respawning in, like me. And as usual, I babysit my Fortress Brachio pikes to the point because they're a very slow unit. I find no more units on point and proceed to walk my pikes to the enemy spawn because I know they have barely anything left to engage with. And with less than 2 minutes on the clock, I struggle to walk the pikes down the staircase, whilst they have problems fighting enemies on the vertical grounds. Here are some last heroes going for their last huzzah, and I wait for an opportunity to get down the stairs when they are safe. Now some palace guards charge down the staircase, so I'll follow behind. The enemy still has a unit of berserkers and javelins, so they still are a threat. I form my pikes into formation and block these berserkers, but some get to the side. It takes my sally forth and body blocking to draw out their rage and counterattack with the X and V trick. And now, with only a few seconds on the clock, it's hero hunting time. I draw my units to get closer to the enemy and try to walk them close to the enemy heroes. But as you can see, they are running, and I see a unit of javelins. No doubt that they want to hit me. This glaive hero goes in for the glory, and tries to hit them with his ultimate. I dodge this even with my slow movement speed and go in for the kill when his back goes to face me. Now it's this unit of javelins which got themselves too close to my pikes. No doubt it was the glaive hero just then's unit, and I easily take them out. Now I take out this AFK mole, again using the X and V method. Nothing more to see here, so let's go to the ending screen. I got 123 kills and 921 kill score in this 10v10 match. My Expedition Knights have 57 kills due to the excellent flank, and even though the 4-2 Brachio Pikes didn't do much, they still got quite the kill score, so never end seeking for opportunities, even if the game is about to end. This was Alan, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what I make, and see you in the next one.